الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So today inshallah ta'ala we'll be continuing discussing the book Bulugh al-Maram by Hadith ibn Ḥajar al-ʿAsqalānī rahimahullah, and we're discussing concerning Kitab al-Taharah. So of those hadith that he mentioned regarding concerning Taharah is the hadith of Anas bin Malik, and we'll cover this hadith and the benefits that can be taken and the ahkam that can be taken from the hadith. So the hadith will be read and then we go through the discussion regarding this particular hadith. Tafaddal.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Hadith number 10 from Kitab al-Miyah. Narrated Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. A Bedouin came and urinated in one corner of the mosque. The people shouted at him, but Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam stopped them. When the man finished urinating, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered for a bucket of water which was poured over it.
So the author rahimahullah Ibn Ḥajar that in continuing discussing concerning those matters that relate to al-Miyah, so matters regarding al-Miyah that you have mentioned, the hadith of Anas bin Malik, and the hadith as already called that جاء أعراب فبال في طائفة المسجد. So a man that he came and urinated in the masjid. So as we know, they mention the end concerning hadith muttafaqun alayh. The hadith is collected by Bukhari and Muslim. So one will discuss concerning the hadith by way of first discussing concerning the Sahabi who have narrated hadith with Anas bin Malik. So to mention something brief about the Sahabi, then we'll give the takrij of the hadith, and then we have the discussion regarding other benefits that can be taken from the hadith. So as for the narrator of the hadith, it has been mentioned here that as the author mentioned concerning Anas ibn Malik, who is the Sahabi radiyallahu anhu, who have narrated this particular hadith. So regarding Anas ibn Malik, what has been stated regarding in brief regarding his name, as stated here, Anas ibn Malik ibn Nadhr al-Ansari al-Khazraji. So it's Anas ibn Malik ibn Nadhr al-Ansari al-Khazraji, and his kunya is Abu Hamza. His kunya is Abu Hamza. And also Anas bin Malik, that of those companions that he said to be of the khadim, of those who kind of somewhat served the Prophet ﷺ. So he acted as a person who would help and assist the Prophet ﷺ regarding certain things. And he did this for over 10 years. Then also they mentioned regarding concerning also that his mother was Sulaym bint Milhan, that she presented her son to the Prophet ﷺ for him to kind of somewhat to be the one to assist the Prophet ﷺ. So that's concerning Anas bin Malik. As for Anas bin Malik, that from a youngster that he had this responsibility of being the one who would assist the Prophet ﷺ. And also the Prophet ﷺ also he made a supplication for Anas bin Malik. So also that the Prophet ﷺ that he supplicated for Anas bin Malik, Allahumma akthar malahu waladuhu wa adkhilahu al-Jannah. So the Prophet ﷺ that he prayed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless Anas and increase him regarding concerning his wealth, also regarding his children, and also regarding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter him al-Jannah. So those three things that he prayed for Anas bin Malik, and those they mentioned regarding concerning that he was known to Anas bin Malik became very wealthy and also had many children, and also regarding concerning the third, that he from the Sahaba, and all the Sahaba that they are said to be from Ahli Jannah. So all the Sahaba that they are said to be of Ahli Jannah. So Anas bin Malik anhu that it states regarding concerning him that Anas that he died in Medina. And as a concern al-Basra, he lived in Basra, so he left from Medina and then went to live in Basra, and he died in al-Basra. So he died in Basra in the year in the 90th year of the Hijrah. So Anas bin Malik that regarding concern that he was the one who served the Prophet ﷺ for a while. You also find concern in some of the ulama of Sirah that they have mentioned regarding other Sahabi who have said to have this responsibility. So regarding being a khadim, being one who helped and assist the Prophet ﷺ regarding certain type of chores, that will find that Anas bin Malik being one from a youngster. Also those others, or also those who are mentioned, we have Abdullah bin Mas'ud, also of those who kind of somewhat served as a one who assisted the Prophet ﷺ as a general benefit of, as mentioned, Anas bin Malik. Also Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, also Uqba ibn Amir, also Bilal ibn Rabah, and also they mention Rabi'a ibn Ka'b and others. So these are amongst the companions who serve as individuals who at times will assist the Prophet ﷺ regarding different things. So as for this hadith that we mentioned here regarding that has been mentioned by Ibn Ḥajar, that he mentioned the hadith of Anas regarding this case, regarding this person, Arab, who came and united the masjid, in a section of the masjid. Then the people rebuked him. Then the Prophet ﷺ, then he forbade them from what they did. And then when the person completed his urinate in the masjid, then the Prophet ﷺ asked for some water, a bucket of water to be brought, and for it to be poured over that area. He mentioned regarding concerning muttafaqun alayh, as mentioned, the hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. As we mentioned concerning at-takhrij of the hadith, then as mentioned regarding concerning hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, but also find that the hadith that is mentioned here, that also can be found, this hadith also can be found in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad. Also the hadith is found in the Sunan of Ibn Majah, Nasa'i, in the Mujtaba, also Ibn Khuzaymah in his Sahih, and others. So this hadith is found in several places, or several others other than Bukhari and Muslim. So the hadith is somewhat narrated by many of the other books of the Sunnah that have collected a hadith. So the hadith is authentic, seen as of the highest level of authenticity, which the hadith in the Bukhari and Muslim. As for this hadith also, you find that there's other shawahid. So you find that other sahabi or other companions who have narrated this particular hadith. And amongst them that I mentioned concerning shawahid, other narration of this hadith, that we find the hadith of one of others who have narrated this hadith, Abu Hurairah, and his narration can be found also in Bukhari and also in the Musnad of Ahmad, Nasahi, Ibn Hibban, and others. And that narration is Sahih. Also another Sahabi who have narrated this hadith, we find concerning that Wathila ibn Asqa also have narrated this hadith. And this hadith also is collected by Ibn Majah, also Tabarani in his Mu'jam al-Kabir. But this particular with this narration of Wathila, that there's some discussion regarding its authenticity. So there's some discussion between the ulama, and the other hadith to be da'if jiddan, based upon one of the narrators in the hadith, who's Ubaydullah Hudhali, that is discussed, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimullah called about this person concerning Taraku an-nas hadithu, that the people that they abandon is hadith. Then also you find that also Bukhari rahimullah in his book At-Tarikh al-Kabir mentioned munkar hadith. So a severe mention regarding concerning that criticism of this person regarding is hadith. So the hadith, that particular narration of Wathila, is considered to be da'if. The third of those who have narrated this hadith by way of shawahid, that they mention the hadith of Ibn Abbas. So third amongst the Sahaba who have narrated this hadith, also the hadith of Ibn Abbas. And the hadith of Ibn Abbas, it is found in Abu Ya'la, in his Musnad, also Bazar, also in his Musnad, and also Tabarani in Al-Kabir. But also with this particular narration also, there's some discussion regarding this also narration. So this narration of Ibn Abbas, there's some criticism of this narration based upon one of the narrator who's Abu Uwais. So one of the narrators, Abu Uwais, that Ibn Ḥajar rahimullah and others have criticized this particular narrator. So overall, this hadith of Anas bin Malik have been narrated by several other companions, but we have mentioned some of those companions who have narrated that particular hadith. So that's concerning matters relating to takhrij of the hadith. And with somebody's narration, you have certain type of, you have extra additional wordings that are mentioned in some of these hadiths. So you have extra wording, additional wordings that are mentioned in some of these other narrations. The next matter to be discussed concerning is regarding concerning the meaning of the hadith. So the general meaning of the hadith that have been mentioned here. So they mentioned regarding certain wordings that they have clarified regarding the hadith, that of the word they mentioned regarding the hadith I mentioned, Ja al-Arab. So they mentioned concerning Arabi. So this person who came to the Prophet ﷺ to the masjid, and this masjid, the Masjid al-Medina. So this masjid, the Masjid al-Medina. So he came, this Arab, a discussion between the ulama regarding identifying who is this person, who is this Arab. So the Arab is a person who is a Bedouin. So the Arab is a Bedouin, the person, Sakin al-Badiya, the person who lives in the desert. They mention, so whether this person, Sawa Kana, Arab or Ajam. So even some of the ulama have mentioned concerning this person said to be a Bedouin, that whether the person is Arab or non-Arab, the fact that they live in the desert, then they are said to be referred to as Arab. Some of the ulama that they are more concerned, that restrict concern the Arab, that is more concerned the persons than Arab. So the Arab they refer to as Arab. So as for identifying this person, that you find some discussion between the ulama as for identifying who this particular person that is mentioned in this hadith. Of those who have mentioned some possibilities of who this individual is, that I mentioned one, that concerning Dhu Khuwaysara. So Dhu Khuwaysara, that some of the ulama have mentioned that some have mentioned it is Dhu Khuwaysara. But the isnad going back to this is daif. The isnad going back to this is daif regarding concerning that the possibility that is Dhu Khuwaysara, that isnad that goes back, it is mursala and it is daif. A second option or another mention, Aqra ibn Hasib of the ulama who have mentioned that the possibility that this Arab, this Bedouin that is Aqra ibn Hasib at-Tamimi, that then the third option that they give concerning Uyayna ibn Hims, Uyayna ibn Hims, Hams or Hims or Uyayna, that some of the ulama have mentioned it's not a possibility regarding a person called Uyayna. So those are the possibility as to who this person is, but there's nothing clear and authentic regarding specifying who this person was, the Bedouin who did who unit in the masjid. So overall they have mentioned regarding concerning this matter that it is that whether one know or not know who this person is, it doesn't per se have any alaqa regarding the hukum, regarding any kind of ahkam shar'iyya. So identifying the person or not, it doesn't per se change anything regarding any ahkam that can be taken from the hadith. So that's concerning of that matter. Al-Iraqi and others have mentioned regarding concern that, this person said to be of the mubhamat, those people are unknown, of those who are unknown and not identified within this isnad. So that's concerned that matter regarding this Ja'a Arab. Then they mentioned Fabala fi Taifat al-Masjid, that he urinated in a section of the masjid. So he urinated in a section of the masjid. Then they mentioned Fazajaru al-Nas, then the people, they kind of somewhat rebuke this person. So then I mentioned فنههم نبي السلام فلما قضى بوله أمر نبي السلام بذنوب من الماء فأحرقوا عليه. Then he mentioned the Prophet ﷺ, because someone not stop them from what they were doing regarding how they rebuke this person. And I mentioned Zajar, by way of that the companions that were very harsh in the way that they condemned this person regarding what he did. They were very firm and stern regarding their condemnation of this person. So the Prophet ﷺ wanted, forbade them for what they were doing, that to be more gentle regarding this person, and that to be discussed regarding the fawaid of the hadith. So overall, then the Prophet ﷺ somewhat told a person to leave him, let him continue and end his urinating in the masjid, and then he ﷺ, that he asked that a bucket of water to be brought with water, and it to be poured on the area that the person urinated. And that's what is mentioned regarding the hadith. So that's concerning the general meaning concerning this particular hadith. Then we can somewhat now go into some of the ahkam that can be taken from the hadith. Some of the ahkam that can be taken from this particular hadith. So of those ahkam that relates to this particular hadith, that we'll mention around 5 ahkam or 4 ahkam, main ahkam that can be taken from this particular hadith. The first of those ahkam that is discussed between the ulama, they discuss concerning hukum bawl al-Adami, was a ruling pertaining to the urine of a human being. So the ruling concerning a person's urine was a ruling regarding is it something which is najis or not. So on this matter, An-Nawawi rahimahullah in his book Sharh Muhaddab, that he mentioned amma bawl adami kabir fanajus bi-ijma' al-muslimin. So An-Nawawi rahimahullah have somewhat have stated that there's an ijma', a consensus between the ulama and the Muslim regarding concerning that the urine of a human being that is an adult, that it is najis, whether the person is a male or female. So urine of a grown person is considered to be najis, whether it is a male or a female, and that's with ijma'. And also he mentioned Ibn Mundhir rahimahullah also have stated that ijma' on this matter. So Ibn Mundhir also have stated that ijma' on this matter, and of the thing that they use to prove concern that the impurity of a person's urine, that the hadith that is mentioned here, the Prophet ﷺ, that he asked for water to be brought to be poured over the urine, so it shows that it is impure. So he mentioned that an ijma'. So second, regarding concerning that bawl adami, so mentioning concerning a grown person. Then also he discussed concerning next what is discussed with the ulama regarding amma al-bawl as-sabi. So concerning that, what's the ruling pertaining to the urine of a child? So a child regarding concerning alladhi lam yut'am, the child that have not yet started to eat hard food. So a child who is just not eating normal food, what's the ruling regarding their urine. So regarding Asabi, as mentioned, so it says that he's still in that youngster who's not yet eating normal food. So that's concerning a Sabi that is being discussed. He mentioned Najas Indana. So An-Nawawi rahimahullah, when he discussed this matter, he mentioned Indana meaning, when he mentioned Indana meaning concerning the Shafi'iyah. So An-Nawawi rahimahullah, when this concerning Indana Najas, he intend by this the ulama of the Shafi'iyah, as that's the method that he aligns with. So he mentioned وَإِنْدَ ulama al-Kafa, and also the majority of the ulama, so vast majority of the ulama, that they have the view regarding that a child's urine also, it is deemed to be najas, and that's the view of the Shafi'iyah, as mentioned by An-Nawawi. Then he mentioned that others regarding Sahib al-Bayan, who's Imrani, so one of the ulama of the Shafi'iyah, whose name is Imrani, that he has a book that comes around, is in print in around over 11 volumes, that is called Al-Bayan. So this is a book discussing concerning the method of the Shafi'iyah, a very important book and beneficial book of Imrani, that is titled Al-Bayan. That's just part of the name, where he mentioned Imrani, that mentioned concerning An Dawood annahu qal huwa tahir. So Dawood al-Zahiri, that of the view regarding that, the urine of a child, that it is pure, contrary to the view taken by majority. And then he discussed concerning those who have come to the conclusion that the urine of a child also considered to be najas, impure, as mentioned by An-Nawawi rahimahullah, that they have used concerning this hadith. So I said Arab, that said the hadith is taken by way of his umum, is a general ruling that does not distinguish between is concerning urine without distinguishing between a child or that of an adult. So they mention that's of and also they mention regarding concerning al-qiyas, we're concerned that whether no distinction between a child and an adult. So that's concerning the view. They have taken also other hadith that have mentioned regarding concerning this matter, regarding concerning that urine, regardless of whether the person is an adult or a child, that urine itself is said to be impure. And also they discuss concerning the hadith regarding concerning the hadith that discuss concerning of those people that are punished in the qabr, in their grave, is because of the person not being very careful regarding urine getting onto himself. So they said that hadith shows regarding that urine is the thing that brought about a person being punished without making a distinction. So they mentioned that that's of the evidence that is used. So overall concern that of the ulama that regarding concerning urine, that for adults that's clear as ijma is established, but as for the child, a khilaf between the ulama, those who hold that, which is the majority, that it is impure, and those who hold that it is pure, and that's the view of the Zahiriyah, and the qawl of Jumhur seems more correct. The qawl of Jumhur of the ulama seems more correct. Allahu alam. The next masala to be discussed concerning, after discussing concerning al-bawl, al-gha'it. So regarding concerning al-gha'it al-adami, regarding the feces of a human being. What's the hukum regarding this? So by extension regarding the hadith discussed concerning urine, so the next thing to be discussed concerning al-gha'it, which is stool or the feces of a human being, is considered to be, what's the ruling regarding this? What's the ruling regarding feces of a person? Naqla an-Nawawi rahimahullah ijma' ala najasati, that he have mentioned that there's a consensus and agreement between the ulama that the feces of a human being, that it is impure, that it is impure. They mentioned قال لا فرق بين غائط الصغير ولا كبير بالإجماع, that there's also, he mentioned there's no difference, with no distinction between that of an adult or a child. So there's no distinction between an adult and a child, that all human being feces are considered to be impure. And that's mentioned bil ijma, and that's a consensus regarding this matter, consensus on that discussion. The third of those masail to be discussed concerning هل يتعين الماء بتطهير الأرض, that regarding concerning this case with the Arab, the Bedouin that he united in the masjid, that the Prophet of Islam that he asked for water to be brought and to be poured over that area. So in this case, is it water only to be used to purify the earth or the dirt if it has been urinated? So in this case concerning the method that you find the ulama, they fall into two view. So regarding concerning if a person concerning if the floor or the dirt have become impure, what is to be used? Is it only restricted to water, or other than water can be used? Jumhur of the ulama, that they're all concerning that they can somewhat specify that water is to be used as a means to purify this dirt. So water is to be used as Islam asked for water specifically. So they mentioned, that water is the thing to be used. A second view of the ulama is regarding concern the view of the Ahnaf. So Imam Abu Hanifa, Ali rahmatullah, and also Muhammad ibn Hassan and also Shaybani wa Abu Yusuf, or Qadi Abu Yusuf, concerned the ulama, the Ahnaf, of those three, that they all consider anna jazasa idha uzilat bishams or rih, that these things of this najasa, if it was to get onto the dirt or the floor, that it can be purified, this najasa, by way of the sun, by the sun, or by way of the wind blowing it away, or these type of things where it has somewhat been removed. So if any form of trace or remnants of this have been removed by way of these, I said, by way of the sun, or by way of the wind, or these things, then all that, this is a way of also purifying this area without water. So sun, wind, and the likes, that they see it as a way of, that these can be used also a way to purify the earth or the ground. Then that's concerning the view that is taken by some of the ulama regarding this particular matter. Also, of those who are aligned or more inclined toward the view of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, they mention qawl li Shafi'i. So Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah also aligned to the qawl of Imam Malik rahimahullah, Imam Abu Hanifa, and also Imam Malik. So Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, and Abu Hanifa, that they are on similar position regarding this matter, and also concerning qawl fi mathab Ahmed, and also a view, position taken of those of the mathab of Imam Ahmed rahimahullah. So that's concerning the view regarding that matter. And you find the likes of Ibn Taymiyyah and also of contemporary Ibn Uthaymeen, that they're in line with the second view. They're in line with the second view that water is not the only thing that can use to purify the ground if there's najasa that have got onto it. And Allahu Alam, that view seems to be strong. That view seems to be strong. So that's concerning that matter that is being discussed. Then the next matter to be discussed, the fourth matter to be discussed regarding of the ahkam that can be taken, or the next matter to be discussed regarding concerning this matter, regarding concerning that, is it concerning hufrat al-har? Is it, as some of the ulama, that all concerning that, if urine have gotten to the ground, onto the, then the person, to cleanse it, one needs to dig this away, shovel this dirt away, and also replace it with new dirt. So I have a view of taken by some of the ulama that the way to purify this, that a person need to dig this soil away and then replace it again. That's the view taken by some of the ulama, and that view is not correct. That view is not correct, and the call of Jumhur of the ulama, that does pouring water over the area, then that is sufficient, or it being cleansed by other ways, then this is allowed. So Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, or the Ahnaf, that they have taken a position concerning إذا كانت الأرض صلب, if the earth is somewhat very hard, that they mention that it needs to be hufr, it needs to be digged up, that najasa, and be replaced with clean dirt. That's the view that they have taken, and their evidence that they use they use a hadith in Abu Dawood, in his, by Imam Abu Dawood rahimahullah, in his Sunan, where he mentioned regarding concerning the hadith of Abdullah ibn Ma'qil. So the hadith of Abdullah ibn Ma'qil, where he mentioned أنه قال عليه السلام خذوا ما بال عليه من التراب, that a person should take away that which the person have urinated upon. So they said, no, from that it shows وَأَلْقَاهُ, and also to be thrown out. So they mentioned, based upon this hadith, that He alayhi salam mentioned خذوا, that you should take this away, this soil or this area that one have urinated upon, and to be thrown out. They mentioned that is to be done. But Abu Dawud rahimahullah, when he mentioned this hadith, فقال mursal. Abu Dawud rahimahullah also himself, when he mentioned this hadith, then he stated at the end of this hadith by saying mursal. Ibn Ma'qil lam yudrik Nabi al-Islam, as Ibn Ma'qil did not met the Prophet al-Islam. So there's a kind of somewhat breakage in between the hadith. So based on the hadith is said to be da'if. So that's concerning that matter regarding, so this hadith mentioned خُذُوا مَا بَالَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ التُّرَابِ, that the person should take away that which had been the person urinated upon, it to be removed. Both said the hadith is da'if, so it goes back to the asl regarding the hadith of Anas, where the Prophet ﷺ kind of somewhat just allowed water to be thrown on the area. The next matter to be discussed, that regarding concerning use of ghassala, that today we have concern of what is referred to as washing machines. So regarding concerning the use of washing machine, if a person was to of their clothing, najas upon their clothing, and the person was to put it in this washing machine with other clothing, does it make those other things impure because that thing, for example, of urine in it or feces, when the person put it in the machine, does it also make those other things impure? Then after going through the process concerning of the washing machine, of it to be washed, then that water will be somewhat be filtered out, then also replaced with water to be rinsed, then that thing considered to be tahir. Then that thing that is washed. So if, for example, the person of najas in his clothing, for example, urine got onto the person's clothing, and the person put in the washing machine, going through that process, then when it comes out, then it's considered to be pure. It's considered to be pure. So even the other clothing that are inside the machine with it, also they're considered to be, everything considered to be pure, that have gone through that process of being washed alongside with that garment that is impure. So those are the direct of those masail that are taken from that hadith. Then another matter that is discussed between some of the ulama regarding this particular hadith, they discuss additional matter regarding bawl wal warth al-hayawan, regarding concerning the urine and also the the dung or the poo of animals. What's the hukum regarding this? So we discussed concerning the urine and the feces of human. So what's the case regarding the feces and also the urine of animals? Is it considered to be pure or impure? On this matter, that they have mentioned the ulama, they have a khilaf, a difference between the ulama on this matter. So on this matter, there is a discussion between the ulama, and of those discussion, that we find that of the ulama who have taken a position regarding Taharah al-bawl, that regarding concerning the urines of animals, that is pure, and also the warth, also concerning that their poo, their dung, is also concerned, said, allati ya'kul lahmi, that those that we eat of their meat, so those one that we eat of their meat, ya'kul lahma, the one that we eat of their meat, so the animals that we allow to eat from their meat, then their urine, their bowel, and also their feces is considered to be, they mention, pure. It's considered to be pure. And that's a view taken by Atta, Ibrahim al-Nakhai, Sufyan al-Thawri, Ahmed bin Hanbal, and also Malik, as mentioned, and also the view that is taken by Ibn Taymiyyah regarding that particular matter. So regarding concern of the ulama, that they all concern that the urine and also the feces of animals that we are allowed to eat of their meat, then those animals, their feces and their poo is considered to be pure. Then also the next view on this matter, and they mention various the Adillat they use concerning the basis. That's they mention concern that that the Prophet is concerned that allowed concerning that the person to pray in the pen of the goats. So it mentions that and they would urinate and those type of things would be there. So it shows that it is, if you're allowed to pray in that area, then it shows that their feces and their dung, it is pure. And other Adillat they use for that particular matter to prove their point. The second view on this matter that they mention is najasat al-bawl, regarding concerning animals, that their urine is impure and also their feces is impure. Regarding jami' hayawanat, and the view concerning all animals, whether we eat of their meat or not eat of their meat, that their urine and also their feces, their bowel, is considered to be najas. And that's the madhab, that's the view taken by Imam Shafi, Abu Thawr, and a view taken by the Hanafiya, and also al-Riwaya and Ahmed, al-Riwaya and Imam Ahmed rahimahullah, and also the view that is taken by Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri. So Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri, that is of the view regarding all animals, whether we eat of their meat, allowed to eat of their meat or not, that all their urine and their feces is considered to be impure. And they discuss that they use a dalil regarding concern the hadith regarding concern those people that the one that is punished in the grave, regarding that of those two persons, one being punished because of not being mindful regarding his urine. So they said that applies to all urine, whether it is human and animal urine. But the hadith regarding concerning that person is more concerned that is related to human, is related to human regarding concerning that matter. And as mentioned concerning فَإِنَّ عَامَةَ الْعَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ مِنْهُ يعني من البول, as in the hadith concerning إِنَّ عَامَةَ الْعَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ من البول, that the vast majority of the adab of the qabr is due to urine. They mentioned that applies to all form of urine, whether human or animals. So that's the hadith regarding concerning that. The ulama have responded to that regarding concerning that al-bawl bil-ma'rifa, what is intended by this concerning human urine. What is intended in hadith is human urine, not that concerning that of animals and others. So that's concerning that matter. Then the third view on this matter is regarding concerning the Taharah al-Jami' al-Abwal, that concern that, al-bawl, that and also dung of all animals, the feast of all animals, it is pure ada, bawl, al-adami, lughat al-adami, except for human beings. So the third view all concerned that all animals, that whether we eat, whether that's allowed to eat of their meat or not, that their urine and their feces, it is tahir, it is pure, except with exception concerning that of human beings. So according to the Saud, that's the view that is taken by, and of those who align to that view is that view mentioned, al-Sha'bi, al-Nakhai, Ibrahim al-Nakhai, Ibn Wahab, and it's also the madhab of the qawl of the Zahiriyah, except for Ibn Hazm, and also the view that is also taken by al-Shawkani. So the ulama of more al-Shawkani that also take to this view. So regarding that, so this view all concerned that human feces and urine, it is najas. As for all animals, it is pure, and that's the view taken by, as we mentioned, Shawkani. Also is Allah in his book Nail Autar that kind of somewhat align to this view and defend this view. So it's concerning the aqwal of the ulama regarding this matter. So we have those three aqwal, those who are going to make a distinction between human and animals, and those who are going to somewhat all concerned that that a distinction between those that we are allowed to eat of their meat and those that we are not allowed to eat of their meat. And they mentioned regarding concern that al-Raji, according to the author here of the book here concerning al-Fath al-Alam, that he all concerning al-Raji fi hadi masala huwa al-mathab al-awwal. So the author here all concerned that mathab al-qawl al-awwal, that is the more correct view, and that view is the view that states regarding concern urine and the dung of the animal, that it is pure for those that we are allowed to eat of their meat. And also as for the ones that we do not eat of their meat, then they're all concerned their dung and their urine considered to be impure. So that's concerning that particular matter regarding of the ahkam that can be taken from that particular hadith. So we'll go to the next matter after discussing those main ahkam regarding that hadith. The next matter be discussed concerning the fawaid. So of the benefits that can be taken from the hadith. So what are the lessons or the benefits that can be taken from this particular hadith? At least now we'll go to put our attention to what is mentioned by Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah. So now mention concerning what have been mentioned by Ibn Uthaymeen regarding the fawaid that can be taken from this hadith. So Ibn Uthaymeen, as we mentioned before, that he has two explanations that are in print. He has two explanations. He has a smaller one which is called Ḥajar al-Mukhtasar ala Bulugh al-Maram. So from this that he mentioned many benefits that can be taken, we can somewhat mention some of those. And just can somewhat highlight some of those benefits can be taken. Of that he mentions from this hadith, he mentioned أن الجاهل, that regarding concern the jahil, إذا فعل شيء محرم, if the jahil, the person that ignorant, was to do something which is muharram, he did something which is haram, أنه يعذب بجهله, that he should be punished for his ignorance, but also the person should not per se, but also not overly condemn him. So the person still to be like, it be to be clarified, but without person going overboard and being too harsh in their condemnation of the person who's ignorant. And also, they mention, وَلَا يُلْحِقُهُ بِذَلِكَ الْإِثْمِ, that the person also, if was ignorant of what he did, then also there is no ithm upon the person, if it is something that he was completely ignorant of. So he mentioned that, of those things he mentioned regarding that the person's jahil is not to be spoken to, لا يكلم كما يكلم العالم, that a jahil person not to be spoken to as you speak to a person's alim, a person who understand and know the matter. So a person who have knowledge of something and a person who does not have knowledge of that thing, then they are not to be spoken or treated exactly the same. So to make a distinction between the person who may do something which is wrong but he was ignorant, and a person who's of understanding and know that thing but did something that they shouldn't have done, then both is to be dealt with somewhat differently. So not to speak to the person who knows and the person who don't know, to be done the same. They mention, إِنَّمَا الرِّفْقُ بِهِ. So the person who doesn't know, the person should have a rifq. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he can somewhat forbid those, nahahum, when he can somewhat forbid, the Sahaba was regarding that, their harshness towards that person. Their harshness towards that person who was ignorant of what he was doing, as he's a person, a Bedouin, and they can be somewhat a bit, he didn't understand that what is not allowed, what are things that are allowed or not allowed in a masjid. So he did something thinking that what he was doing was okay. Thinking what he was doing was something which was allowed. So also he mentioned regarding Ghalib ala al-Badi, al-Badiya, al-Jahl, says that most of the people who are said to be of the Bedouins, that what is somewhat what they are known for, that majority may be said to be people who are not that literate. They're not people who are said to be that so ignorance among them may be widespread, and concerning the people who may be like similar to them. Some people may be similar to them, that you might find that ignorance amongst them is widespread, and especially in our time regarding concerning that ignorance regarding Islam, regarding concerning the Ahkam of Islam, maybe even also ignorance may be widespread amongst them regarding knowing concerning the Ahkam of Islam. Especially people who are, and it shows also from this concern to know the importance regarding a person that sitting in the Majalis al-Ilm, and a person given also, so sitting in the circles of knowledge, or reading from the books of ilm. So the person trying to acquire knowledge, that is something which is noble. That is something which is noble. So the person who knows, then is more able to protect himself from falling into a thing which is haram. But if the person is ignorant, then it's easier for him to fall into haram or to be led astray. Then he mentioned regarding concerning yajib ta'lim al-jahil, also of those matters of the benefit, that also it shows concerning the importance regarding those who know to educate and to teach those who don't know. So regarding concerning yajib ta'lim al-jahil, so those people who have knowledge, there's a part of their responsibility that they should teach and educate those, teach the Muslim. So regarding, so that would include concerning the person of the alim, that are the ones who try to establish lessons to teach the people, make themselves accessible to teach the people, or by way of writing books to educate the people, and also the tulab al-ilm. So people, the tulab al-ilm, who have learned Islam properly, and they're upon the right aqidah, and they're upon the right concern, they understand concerning the fiqh of Islam, that also that they should teach the people what they have learned, regarding concerning the people need to practice their basic Islam, what the people need to practice basic Islam. And after the thing that concern the talib al-ilm, that also not to busy the people with things that are beyond them, not to busy the people with things that is not per se things that that they may grasp properly those concepts or those issues, and not to put things upon people that is doesn't per se concern them, not to put things upon people that is not of things that of great concern to them and their situation. Then also he mentioned wujub mubadira bil-inkar al-munkar, also of those points that can be taken from hadith regarding concern the person that to be hasty in so the person concerned, the person be hasty regarding condemning of munkar. So the person regarding rebuking and condemning concerning munkar, but billati ahsan, but in the best way possible. So regarding that munkar, as in this case the Sahaba, they were hasty in rebuking that person, but also going about doing it the correct way. So regarding concerning al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy al-munkar, which is an important principle in Islam, regarding concerning encouraging of good and forbidding of evil, something which of the important principle in Islam. But also it has qawahid wa dawabit, but also there's rules and guidelines regarding this, that a person should be aware of it regarding applying these matters. So in this case concerning the companions, that they were very harsh regarding their condemnation of the person did, but also it showed that condemning of evil, it is something the person should do of this when they either see or witness that thing. Then he mentioned أنه, in this case concerned أنه إذا كان منكر لا يزول إلا بما هو أعظم فإنه لا ينكر بل يسكت عليه حتى ينكر فيما بعد. So the author Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah mentioned regarding of those benefits can be taken also. He mentioned أنه إذا كان منكر, if this munkar is evil, لا يزول إلا بما هو أعظم, if trying to remove it, it will create something greater. So the person in trying to remove an evil, it will bring about something that is a greater evil. Then in this case, la yunkir. In this case, the person, he leaves this thing. He leaves this evil. because if he tries to remove it, it will bring about a greater evil. Then in that case, the person is to not try to remove that thing or to condemn that thing because of the consequence that it will bring about something that is greater. But he mentioned, بل يسكت عليه حتى ينكر فيما بعد. Then a person can somewhat leave it for now until he can condemn that thing later. Until he's able to can condemn that thing later. Also, the hadith concerning shows regarding that tathir al-najasa bil-ma, regarding concerning that tathir this najasa bil-ma, as in that case, by subhali, by the person, by pouring water over that impurity, then it becomes pure. Also mentioned أنه يبادر بتطهير النجاسة. Also it shows that one should be hasty in trying to purify impurity. So if there's an impurity, then the person try as quickly as possible to have that thing cleaned. Then also from the hadith it shows regarding concerning that أن النجاسة على الأرض, regarding concerning najasa that is upon the ground, لا يشترط فيه عدد. So there's not required the person have to do it X amount of time, regarding that the person, if there's things of impurity, that the person doesn't need to pour water over this X amount of times. Not 7, not 6, not 5, not 3. So once is enough, if it is sufficient to remove that impurity. So regarding concerning as a general thing regarding removal of impurities, that also the person does it once. If that is sufficient, there's no need for the person to do it X amount of time unless there's something stated, mentioned by the Sharia. And we mentioned those cases where in certain circumstances the Sharia have specified that something to be purified by it being cleansed X amount of time. But other than that, the person requires a dalil regarding doing it repeatedly. Also from the hadith it shows that we discussed concerning Bol Adami Najas, regarding concern that the urine of a person, that it is Najas, as we had discussed that in more detail. Also from the hadith it shows concerning that the masajid, they are to be honored. Regarding concerning the masajid, that they are to be honored and to be respected, of those respect and honor for the masajid, that the masjid is not like any other buqa, not any other place on the earth for the Muslim. So the masajid that have certain rules, that we find that there's no other building that have been given those rules. So regarding concerning the person behave in a masjid, then there's rules regarding this. So there's adab and conduct that a person should observe and behave that a person should observe when in the masjid. So you have certain things regarding the person also, or the person can enter the masjid regarding certain type of smell and odor, even with a person. So those things, so the masajid, that it is to be respected, and also there's certain adab, conduct that is expected to be observed when the person enters the masjid. So the person enters the masjid, you have a dua that is said. When the person leaves the masjid, there's a dua to be said. Also the person inside the masjid, there's certain type of conduct to be observed while in the masjid. And that applies to anyone who uses the masjid. So anyone who enters any masjid, then these rules apply to them accordingly. Regarding concerning, so of those things concerning cleansing of the masjid, that the Muslim should ensure the masjid are kept clean, and for the person not to do anything that will go against this, anything that will go against concerning keeping the masjid clean. So in this case, the person he urinated, that was something which was, and as I said, something prohibited, not to be done. It was done out of ignorance. But also it showed that there's certain type of practice or certain things that are not allowed to be done in the masjid. And of that, the masjid should be cleansed, and the masjid should be, things of impurities should be kept away from the masjid. And anything that is considered to be unbefitting should not be done in the masjid, not to be done inside the masjid. So that's concerning of those, also of those points that he mentioned. Husnu khuluq Nabi al-Islam wa ta'alimi, also of those things regarding the husnu khuluq of the Prophet al-Islam. So it comes from the Prophet Muhammad al-Islam regarding his good conduct, that now he can somewhat, he showed regarding concern that in that situation, that he can somewhat assess the situation properly. So in foresight and insight, regarding concern the person was urinated, using something which was wrong. But the way that he approached him at regarding concern that the person already is in the process that he started. So rather than kind of somewhat try to stop the person in the process, he allowed him to finish, then clarify the person what is allowed and what not allowed inside the masjid. So it shows regarding to know the way of teaching that the person concerning those people who are the teachers of the Muslim, the duwat and the likes, that they use hikmah. That also can sometimes have insight into things by using hikmah having wisdom and insight regarding how they go about concerning teaching the people and also correcting the people. So show that Islam used hikmah regarding teaching and correcting the people, even concerning how he dealt with the people who are said to be jahil. And also it shows regarding that a person, how one deal the jahil, then also the person has to use hikmah, using hikmah regarding a jahil, even the ignorant amongst the Muslim. Also it shows husn ta'aleem Rasul alayhi Islam. Also it shows concerning the husn ta'aleem of the Prophet alayhi Islam. So the Prophet alayhi Islam regarding how he goes about teaching the people. So the person, the da'i, shows of the sifat of the da'i, the teacher. He should have good conduct and how he deals with the people. Not to overly harsh, not to be there to the people where he can somewhat chase the people away because of his khuluq wal adab and how he deal with the people. So the Prophet alayhi Islam wasn't as a teacher that also he was very gentle with the people, and in this case he can somewhat ask someone to bring water, pour that water over the ear, and also call the person and explain to the person the things that are not allowed in the masjid. So it shows regarding concerning that, to know that Islam regarding concerning teaching the people, that he used the best uslub, he used the best manner regarding teaching of the people, and also educate the person by teaching concerning the masjid. La yusla illa as-salat, and then explain to the person the purpose of the masjid. Salah, dhikr, qira'atul Quran, those are the purpose of the masjid, and teaching the people. So these are the purpose of the masjid. And also this to be of something that the Muslim in general to be mindful regarding what's the purpose of a masjid. What's the purpose of the masjid? Salah, teaching the people of Islam, the correct Islam, regarding those things the people need to function in their societies, and also a masjid is considered a place of dhikr, for remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, qira'atul Quran. So the masjid is for that purpose primarily. So of the thing that we should always be mindful of, the purpose of the intent of a masjid, and that is why the masjid has certain rules regarding what is allowed and not allowed inside the masjid, because it doesn't allow just anything. So Islam somewhat taught the person those things. So some of those matters to be discussed further regarding adab al-masjid to be discussed later in a specific topic dedicated for this. So that's of the benefits that can be taken from this particular hadith that have been mentioned. So it shows regarding concern that the Muslim, that to be mindful regarding concerning that in the masjid, what are those things that are allowed and not allowed, and also regarding that urine, as to that it is something which is najis. So these are some of the benefits that can be taken from this hadith regarding this Arab. So it is inshallah ta'ala will end with this hadith. وَبِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى تَوْفِيقٌ وَهَادِي السَّبِيلُ وَالْآخِرَ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.